It's the time of the unexpected, the time of the upsets.
Doesn't get any better than this. This crowd is going nuts.
Tonight, they're all living the dream together.
This is the playoffs.
This is it tonight.
Every time that I look in the mirror, all these lines in my face getting clearer. The past is gone, it went by like dusk to dawn. Isn't that the way? Everybody's got the dues in life to pay. Half my life's in books, written pages, living learn from fools and from sages. You know it's true. All the things come back to you. Sing with me, sing for the year, sing for the nation, sing for the tear. Sing with me, just for today, never tomorrow. The good Lord will take you away. Dream on, dream on, dream on, dream until the dream comes true.
Listen to them.
By the players,
Dream on, dream on, dream on.
Oh, and a big hit there. Oh, man, Stolen again. He backed it off on his leg.
Dream on, dream on.
Oh, he backed it off. Reckless McMahon. Oh, he backed it off on his leg.
Okay. I had to share that. I had to share that. Hi, guys. Let me pull up my name. Hey. Hey, Laura Lee. Chaotic. My love. Hold on. Oh, y'all, my loves. Honey B. Cinemas Fire. Charlotte Webbing. We go up. Rumor. I love you guys. Thank y'all for coming. I had to give, hey, Flossie, I had to do a little, tomorrow night, game 7 of round 2. Either we're going to go home or we're going to go on. I don't know. So let me go back down here. I was going to start earlier because today has been a very odd day. I think we can all agree. Hey, Mount Mom. Today is, hey, Rihanna, how about you? Today has been us. Charlie, how are you, baby? Today has been a very odd day. I'm a Caps fan and totally remember how excited we were. The last time that the Leafs won the Stanley Cup was 1967. I wasn't on the earth yet. I was soon to be on the earth. And there's all kinds of merch that says just once in my lifetime or once before I die, which I might get. But you gotta love them. A girl's gotta have someone to cheer on. If we get past tomorrow, and we go to round 3, and if I'm not mistaken, if we win tomorrow, we play Carolina. I might be wrong about that. And that's where my son goes to watch. Hey, Cassandra, my son goes to Carolina to watch them play the Maple Leafs, you know, a Halloween baby. So, hey, Plurpy. Yes, that's, I mean, you know, it is what it is. Also, I don't know. Last night I was watching Ron Hall, y'all. And if y'all do not know who Ron Hall, y'all, is, subscribe to Ryan Hall, y'all. Put it in the thing there. Because he covers these storms. He will tell you literally that a tornado is coming to you going by Bob's tire shop right now. I mean, that's what he does. And so yesterday he was on for, I got horrible, hold on. I have horrible allergies today. So last night I was watching Ron Hall, y'all, plus the game. And, you know, when Ron Hall says it's huge, I'll put it right here. Hold on. Oh, shit. He said he was going to be there. He already knew this week that it was going to be bad, and he was right. Did I do that? Yeah. No. Yeah. Right. There we go. I watch it when we're not even in the damn. You know, why did I put it? Ignore the slash mark there. So and you know, he said these were bad. This morning, well, we have, and I think a lot of you know, hey, Terry, we have some people that are in the London, Kentucky area that are kind of on the outs right now with everyone, and that would be Jimbo and Thelma and their family, and I do hope that they are well. I hope they're well. St. Louis got hit. I mean, when the hell does a tornado go through a damn city? You know, I mean, yeah, Kentucky got hit so bad. I was watching because now I've got, you know, Pirate lives in Kentucky and, you know, in Louisville. And so, of course, I don't want anything to happen to her. And I watch with great care when something's going on there. Yeah, but Jimbo, I hope that they're okay. That town was decimated. There is, I think they always say, like, as long as hey, Clancy, my sweet, if Clancy, your DM the other day, number one, I always turn my damn phone off somehow during the night. I put it on do not disturb. I do not mean to do it. I read your DM and you're 1,000% right. Would they say that if your family makes it right, you're fine. If people you love make it, then you can rebuild. Yeah, I agree with that. But I'm not standing in front of a thing of rubble right now either, trying to figure out what to do. Yeah, they were. I mean, Kentucky was hit hard with these things. And Ryan Hall says that we're going to have some more bad weather this week. That's why sub up to Ryan Hall, y'all. Because he is so incredible. Plus, they raise money, and he will get a tractor trailer or 2 or 3, and he has like you could give to the channel or you can give to his charity, his fund. 100% of that goes. They will load up generators, grills, chainsaws, gas, women's needs, men needs, baby needs, and they just go and they just, doil it out for everybody. This has been a hell of a year so far for weather related shit. But yeah, the more I watch it, it's heartbreaking. It really is heartbreaking to see people standing in front of 2x4s and some hey Cheyenne, 2x4s and a little bit of insulation. I can't. Yeah, so keep them in your heart. 1 minute in Kentucky. So that's another thing about exactly. Is there were a lot of, I don't want to say poor, but I mean they're poor. I mean, but they're salt of the earth. the best people you'll ever meet. I've driven through Kentucky quite a few times, you know, on the way to Cincinnati. It's a beautiful state and they're beautiful people. And it's just heartbreaking. It really is heartbreaking to see these poor people. Hey, Daria, I've been listening to you over at Steve's, but haven't. I'm gonna do an epic parody coming up, Dara. And I keep teasing it because I'm trying to get. I've got to have certain props, all right, and I have to have certain wigs. And when I get my my YouTube money on the 21st, I already have my Temu list picked out and my Amazon list picked out. And once we get those things, it's gonna be pretty good. It's gonna be a good one, pretty damn good one. I'm used to live in Ohio, so I'm familiar with it. Yeah. Like I said, Kentucky's beautiful. I've driven through it a lot of times on the way to Cincinnati. I feel for these people. And then, I always feel like with mobile homes and modular homes, it's like St. Louis Fire says, Ryan will tell you to get out of those, right? But if you can't, he'll tell you exactly where to go in your house. I mean, sometimes it's just, In fact, I saw a man who him and his wife made it into their bathroom, right? And he was just getting in the tub when everything fell, right? And he didn't hear it. You always think that it's supposed to sound like a train, right? But they didn't hear anything. So we had one a couple of years ago that came down really close to my house, really, really close. In fact, from that tornado, there was debris near my house. Okay, so it was really, really close. I can't say that I heard it, but maybe I did. Maybe it was a complete change in the atmosphere. It was odd. I'll tell you, it was odd. And we didn't lose power. We didn't, I make fun of it because I think it was one of the Walking Dead's, either it was their final show of the season or their first show of the season. I think it was the final. And I kept saying, in the name of Daryl Dixon, and it went, oh yeah, we're good. We're in Virginia, so we're good. We are Gucci, as they say. I love Ryan Hall. I love him. Back way 100 years ago, I have a friend, Uber Goober. Some of you might know Uber Goober because you put fancy. Uber Goober. I think it was a hurricane. I'm pretty sure it was a hurricane. And Ryan Hall, y'all, came on her panel to call the hurricane. He even now he looks 12. Okay, back then, which had to be 7 or 8 years ago, he was there. Hey, Mr. T, he was there, and he called this hurricane. And look at him now. I'm not saying that Uber launched him. He's a good kid, and he's living his dream. And in that great, there's Uber. You remember, right? Yeah, Ryan Hall, y'all, was on Uber's calling a hurricane. And he looked like a baby, a little baby Aquarian. Well, come in. Thank you so much. You just get to know each other right here, and then we're going to jump right in it. Yeah, I'll never forget that Uber. I would never forget him on there calling that hurricane. I'm pretty sure it was a hurricane. He always wanted to be a weatherman since he was a kid. He went to school, got a job at a like TV station, didn't like it, didn't like what he had to do. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, it was that's what I think. And if you follow your dreams long enough, you get to live them, right? I mean, and he's living it. I can remember when him and his wife had just been married, and I guess And he, like the studio that he has now, right, that you could see when you see him, it used to be the biggest bedroom in their house. She let him take the biggest bedroom in the house and put all of his weather stuff there. And hey, Flash. And so now he's got a whole weather house, that's different. But we remember you, Ryan Hall, y'all, when you were a young kid on Uber's panel. Uber gave you your start. That's the story we're telling anyway. Let's talk about today, everybody. Well, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. Next week, we're touching up the color. We're getting her back to the highlights, lowlights. Anyway, it's been a very odd day. It's been an odd week. It's been an odd year. And it just keeps getting odder and odder and odder. That's all I'll say. So tonight, we're going to talk about the Flannan Isles Lighthouse mystery. This happened in 1900 on the Flannan Islands off of Scotland. They called this set of islands the Seven Hunters because it would like draw ships to it in a weird way. Whoa, thank you, Halloween, baby. Marsha. But it would draw like ships to it and then they would wreck. It was, We'll start with this too. We'll get this up. Here, I'm going to show you a picture of it. I'm going to show you a picture. There it is, today as we stand. Now, look at that. I've got several photographs of different angles of this lighthouse. This, what you're seeing right now, in this little line, which, oh God, I wish I had a pointer. There's 160 steps that were chiseled into the rock when they were building this lighthouse. It took them about 4 or 5 years to do it. It was they had to haul all this the materials, the equipment up these ragged, damn awful cliffs on the highest point of the island. This is the biggest of that clump of islands. One side is 200 feet tall. Over here, it's not so much as tall. So, but it's a daunting place. When they were building this, people died. The guys that built it were in like temporary huts. This thing is constant. The wind howling is constant. It's barren. There's nothing on this island. Nothing lives there. All right, nothing lives there, and it's got a history of folklore, of demons out there and what have you. Who am I to say, right? So on this thing opened up in 1899, all right, and the first thing was lit. The first light was lit on December 7th, 1899. Okay, so this thing was state of the art when they built it. State of the art. It had a railway basically that went off from the other side of the island. There's two ways in, the east side and the west side. So they put this. It's like a little rail. It's like a little train track. And in one of the buildings, they had an engine that would pull the materials up. State of the art, right? The light can go 24 nautical miles from that little place right there. Let's look at it again. All right, here is this is the east. Nope, that's the west side of the island. This is the west side of the island. You can see right up there, right in the middle, is that track where they would pull things. There's a lot of crevices here that they would use to put, they would secure like mooring ropes, landing ropes, supplies. It was, this place was, here are the steps that they carved out of the rock. 160 of them on the eastern side of that island. I think I know what picture's coming up next. There we go. I was going to say, let's take a look at the crew. That's not the crew, but that is the core four. I'm just saying. Just saying. All right, so here's our crew right here. All right, we've got James Ducat. He would be the one. I think he's in the middle. And then we have. Look at this. I laugh at this because let me knock this out. I laugh at this because. Hey, Sean the Brit, how are you? I'm sorry, I was over there. I'm over there. Hey, Ted, everybody. The reason I laugh at this photograph is because I saw this photograph, right? I mean, there's not a whole lot of photographs of these people. It was 1900. And the mustaches, that's what I'm saying. Marsha, I was like, they were giving me the different names, and I'm like, they all look the same to me. I don't know. I have no idea who these people are. And so I would go look at another one, right? Oh, oh, come on. That's not Sean the Brit. Is that Sean? You know, I want to. That's not Sean the Brit. Sorry. When I look at these men, though, I mean, they're probably dead. I mean, well, they're probably dead now. I was thinking, these were. There they were. Well, let's get into it, though. Let's get into this. So, on the night of December 15th, 1900. A ship called the Arctur was coming from America to Lee in Scotland. And it noticed that there was no light at the lighthouse. They thought that was odd, but listen, they had places to go. It took them 3 more days to get to Lee. And when they did, they told, they said, listen, there's no light out there at the lighthouse. It's not working. And everybody was like, nah, it's fine, nice. Because during some storms, you weren't able to see the light. Go figure. You couldn't see it. If it was a big, huge storm, you couldn't see it. For a couple of days anyway. So when they got to Lee, they were like, something's really wrong there. Well, bad weather hit Lee. And the ship couldn't leave to go check on them, right? Until like the 18th. Nope, that's a lie. Until the 26th, until the 26th of December. They couldn't go. The relief people were supposed to be there on the 20th of December from Scotland, but there were several bad storms and they couldn't leave until the 26th. So when that ship finally got there, it had James Moore on it. James Moore was one of the regular lighthouse keepers. And they rotated every 2 weeks. They would rotate. One person would go get, leave for 2 weeks, back and forth. Oh, you're good. Half pipe. Get a grab. It's good. So when that ship got to the Flannan Isles Lighthouse, James Moore, who was one of the regular light keepers, went up those 60 steps. Well, I'll tell you that. A Captain Harvey of that ship, they like blew their horn. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. And then they also fired a flare. No one came. No one came to look at them. No one came. And that's when they knew something is very wrong here. I thought I read somewhere that those who were paid. They were actually made a lot of good money. But here's the thing, Ted, you're out there for at least 4 weeks at a time because you have 3 people who are every 2 weeks getting relieved, right, by one person. They were already down a guy, and MacArthur, his last name was MacArthur. He had to come in because they had one guy that was out. I mean, it was, but they made good money, but you didn't see him anymore. You didn't really see him. All these men were family men, too. They had wives, they had children. I'm going to read you part of a interview that the Captain Ducat's daughter, who was 95 when she gave this interview, talks about the day that her father left for this, this leg of his job, and how he really, you could tell he didn't want to go. He did not want to go. So James Moore went up the 160th flight of stairs, right? Up that, let's go back and look at that one on one. My fat ass would have been at the bottom, so y'all got to come on up here. 160 of those right there. Steep as hell. When he got up there, One, they knew something was wrong because there was no flag on the flagpole. They got there in the afternoon, okay, of Boxing Day, December 26th. They got there in the afternoon. There was no flag on the flagpole. That was odd. All right. No one met them when they got there. That was odd. There were supply boxes that they would put down on that east landing for the other boats to pick up, fill up, bring back. They weren't there. So when James Ward got to the top and got to the lighthouse, hey, Spitfire, he noticed a lot of other things that weren't right. He walked, the gate and the door were closed but not locked. Now, when I was reading this, and you read it everywhere, there's only so much about this case that I'm not going to bring y'all anything new. I have not uncovered some big mystery, right? But when because I thought, okay, the door and the gate were closed but not locked. You're on a damn 200-foot island on a lighthouse. Why are you locking your door? Who's coming? But anyway, it wasn't locked. They were closed. James Ward went into the lighthouse. He said that the beds were unmade, which was very odd, because these men were taught you had to be very tidy. You had certain things that you did during the day, keeping the lamp cleaned and ready, cleaning up everything, and the house. It's like, what do lighthouse keepers do all day? They do a lot, actually. So then there was a canary that was still alive. I don't know how, but anyway, she was still alive. There was a chair that was knocked down over in the kitchen. Okay. That was odd. Now, if you look, some people say that the table was set, but there was no food on it. Other people said that it was set and it was meat and bread on the table. I mean, I found both. So one of them's true. The chair actually was down though. He did notice that the light and the lamp had been cleaned and refilled. So that thing was ready to go. Okay. He went out. There's nobody there. So James goes right back down, right? And he tells the Captain Harvey, there's nobody here. There is nobody here. And Captain Harvey goes back. They leave James Moore and two more seamen out there to get the lighthouse going and whatnot. They didn't want to stay. I wouldn't either. Well, Harvey went back to Lee in Scotland, and they telegraphed, the Northern Lighthouse Board, and they came out a couple of days later. Mr. Murhead. Let me find him for you. All right, so this is the state of the art. All right. You look, there's the let me get this bigger. Hold on, babe. All right, so we have the lighthouse. It's not very tall, it's about 75 feet tall, not too big. You had the keeper's quarters right here. You had that, I told you about that steam engine that would pull the supplies from the west landing, which I'm going to show you in a second. It would pull those supplies up. So this was state of the art. This was state of the art. Believe it or not. All right, here's another view of this lighthouse. Why are you locking doors? Why are you locking doors? Why? Now, you're very isolated when you're out there, even if you have two more people with you. It's like being alone, right, with yourself, and that silencing, the deafening silence. They didn't get any of that because we had shit howling. We had the oceans. It was, again, desolate. It looks green. It's not grass. I don't know what it is, but it's not green. It's nothing. It's nothing. All right, so this would be the lighthouse keepers over here on the right. That's Mr. Murhead. He hired every one of these sailors. These keepers. I'm sorry. He hired every one of them. And so when he found out that something was wrong, of course, he's the one that went out and investigated it. Also, Captain Ducat did not want this post. He did not want to be out there. All right, I'm going to read you. Okay, so James Ducat was the principal keeper. All right, he was in his early 40s. He was married with 4 children. Even though he had spent much of his life battling isolation, he brought calm and authority to the post. Okay, so there's not much that's going to rattle Ducat, not at all. However, Ducat did not want to be stationed out on Ellen. It's called Island Orr. Sorry. Island Moore. I'm sorry. He didn't want to be out there. And they said, oh, because he might have had a premonition, okay, of what was going to go. Who knows? But he had appealed to Robert Murhead, the superintendent, and said, I don't want to be out here. And that man said, listen, I need you because you are calm, you are confident, you are great. I'm going to knock you up. You're going to be, the principal lighthouse keeper. I need your experience out there. And eventually, of course, James Ducat did say, okay, yeah, well, we'll have to do it. Then we had Thomas Marshall. Now, Thomas Marshall is in the middle right here of the men. That's Mr. Marshall. This big guy right here, this is this guy is Donald MacArthur. He was filling in for another lighthouse keeper who was out on an injury. He wasn't even supposed to be there. So this is the three this is Murhead over here and the 3 lighthouse keepers. Now, Eileen Moore, here is another picture of it just for reference purposes. These are all the islands around this place. Eileen Moore was the tallest one, so that is why the lighthouse went there. All right. Here's another shot of the men. Not a great picture, but a picture nonetheless. There they are. Mr. MacArthur over here on the right, I mean, that's an intense stare. Just saying. All right. I knew I was not going to be able to do that. Hold on. Oh, shit, book. All right. Anyway, 0 regrets. Every lighthouse has got a log. All right. A log book. And in that log book, basically is everything. Hey, Queen Cat. Everything you do, every wind that blows, everything is put in that log book. All right. Everything is put in that log book. They found the log book. All right. And the log. Hey, hello, Midnight Baker. Now, because I had thought I had this bigger or smaller than I did, I'm going to have to find it. Well, I'm just going to have to talk through it because I don't talk amongst yourselves. I knew that was going to be too big. So in the logbook, they found a log. Not a very big log, but on the 13th of December, let me just take that off. Oh, that's pissing me off. All right. Again, here's another shot. West landing, east landing. So in these logbooks, okay. Now I found the slide. I just made it too big to show. On the 13th in the logbook, it talks about a storm that is coming. It is bad. Everyone is quiet. Ducat is quiet. It's a bad storm. And then you have the 12th is the one that's a bad storm. 13th, everybody's crying. MacArthur's is praying, and Ducat is, won't talk, and it's just horrible. Oh, it's horrible. There's nothing on the 14th, nothing. On the 15th of December, right? It says storm is over. God is good. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. We know that's the last log in that book. That's what we all know. And that is the day that they know that these keepers disappeared. The 15th of December. Remember that the Arch tour saw no light on the 15th. Got to Leigh, Scotland on the 18th, and they sent people out on the 26th. So it was a lot of time. Now, they knew the 15th was the last one. When James Moore went into the lighthouse, they have oil skins, which is just like a really heavy coat that repels water, right? All three of the light keepers. Thank you, Zero Regrets. I love you, honey. Thank you. There was only one oil skin left. So 2 of the lighthouse keepers left with their oil skins on. One didn't. That didn't make any sense either. Another thing that didn't make sense is this horrible storm, right? That these men are describing in this logbook. No one else in the area was hit by a storm. Nobody. There's no record of a storm on the 12th, 13th, 14th. There's none. None. Okay. That's odd. A little bit odd. But there was damage to the island. So they know something hit that island on the 15th of December in the afternoon. They know that because of the light was clean and filled and ready to go. The dinner that they were eating, they know this was in the afternoon. Okay. So they go over to the west side of the island. All right. Well, I'm going to show you the west side of this island. Here's another. I just have to keep showing this because can you imagine being out here for a month or 2 months or 3 months and all you hear is howling wind? Everything is hard. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm like getting the supplies from the west landing was extremely hard. Getting anything from the east landing was extremely hard, right? Oh yeah, they never took photos. There is, all right. So here's another shot. I mean, I cannot upon you. This is I'd like to bring something to the table, right? So this is another shot of the island. Let me make it bigger because I just don't know. The pixelation on that. I mean, duh, right? Look at this place. Look at this place. It's anyway. All right, we're gonna go. Another shot of it. Let's see. You both get off of there, Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews. All right, this is the west side of the island. This is where there was obvious damage done. Okay, so on this side of the island, it is 200 feet from sea level up to the lighthouse part, right? The cliff part. It's 200 feet. 200 feet. You can see here, again, I wish I could point. You got the steps over here on the right? You can see them a little bit. But over here on the west side, that is where they pulled up all the supplies on that little train track type thing, right? And you can see it right there. This was the worst part of the island. This is where the island sustained all the damage. You're saying, Shannon, what do you mean? I'm going to tell you. There was a box of supplies, ropes, mooring ropes, all kinds of ropes. That thing was destroyed. Okay. That was laying on the top, right up at the top, destroyed. Stuff everywhere out of that box. That's number one. Number two, all the sod, all the grass, 200 feet above sea level was gone. It was gone. Now, $200 feet. Do you hear what I'm saying? 200 feet. The grass is gone. The moorings are busted everywhere. Something happened on this side of the island. This is where everybody thinks that the keepers lost their lives. Apparently, I mean, this could be 15 different things. This could be one guy running out without his oilskin, right? And the other two chasing him for whatever reason. This could be the two other lighthouse keepers put it on their oilskins and then the guy that didn't put it on later. Nobody really knows what happened. Nobody really even knows if this is where they disappeared from because they were gone. So this is a nasty little, this is on west side of the island again. You can see the train tracks there on the right. I mean, obviously it's 125 years old. So they're a little grown over. Here's another shot. I just want y'all to see this. This was state of the art in the 1900s. This was state of the art. They had their own little railway. They, hoisted this thing up, and that's what's left of it. I know Austin Matthews. I know this is very, very. I know Austin Matthews. I know. This is weird. Here is what it looks like today. It's automated now, right? So we don't have to worry about a lot of that other stuff. Here's something. I have to keep throwing shots of this thing out. The men were gone. The men were gone, and we don't know where they went, and we don't know anything about it. There have been so many theories on this, right? Let's break out some of these theories. They're quite interesting. Let me read you something, home. All right. Right? I got to do it, I put it in there. So on this 26th, when they got there, and they saw all of the damage, right? It's bad. And they could only assume what happened. Now, we had that one lightkeeper, MacArthur, that was kind of new, right? Because he was taking over for another guy that was always there who was ill. So just like when we covered the Yuba County 5, right? The last guy in must be the problem, right? Because with that mystery, it was Gary, who was the last guy to join the friend group. So obviously he's the one that killed them all. No, but we have Mr. MacArthur here who had a temper. All right, he had a bad temper. Nobody's going to take that from him. He had a bad temper. He was down to, throw fisticuffs at some point. And apparently, if you look at the logbook, they said at one point he was crying that this storm was so bad. So in these theories, right, one is, and this is what Mr. Moorhead, his little report, and remind you, he was the only one submitting a report. This wasn't a group of investigators going out there, was it? This was one man. And he went up there, and let's read what he said. It was a lot of boo-boos. He takes no responsibility, and it's not Mr. Moorhead's responsibility that something happened out there. It's not his, but he even said at one point, I am the last man who ever I'm the last man who shook those men's hands. He was the last one to see them. So in his report, a lot of hullabaloo. It really is. It's bad. So I'm going to read you from his actual report. This was submitted on January 8th of 1901. So a couple weeks later. The iron railings around the crane platform and from the terminus of the tramway to the concrete steps. Follow with me here, all right? From the concrete steps up from the west landing were displaced and twisted. So there were iron rails, obviously, on the side of the island here, right? They were ripped out. The concrete and everything was ripped out. Again, this is 200 feet above sea level. They ripped concrete out of the ground and had the iron railings just curled around. There was a large stone weighing upwards of a ton that had been dislodged from its position higher up and carried down and to the left of the concrete. So whatever hit this island on this side of the island, 200 feet up in the air, it was ripping iron railings out of concrete. It had moved a 2-ton or 1-ton rock from the place it was to another place. It had, let me go back, high position, carried to the left, right. A life buoy fastened to the railings on the concrete, a buoy fastened to the railings along the path that was to be used in case of emergency had disappeared. So that buoy was gone that they used for emergency purposes. That was gone. This path was used in case of emergency. It had disappeared. I thought at first that it had been removed for the purpose of being used, but it was not. The evidence was there that a force from the sea ripped that railing out. Okay, so now we're going to go back. He examined the clothing left behind in the lighthouse and concluded that Ducat and Marshall, which I'm sorry, I don't think I ever mentioned him, had gone down to the western landing stage, and that MacArthur at some point left the lighthouse during a heavy rainstorm in his shirt sleeves, so he didn't have his coat on. He noted that whoever left the lighthouse was in breach of, hey PDX, hey Rand, the person who left the lighthouse was in breach of their policy. Because somebody was supposed to always stay at the lighthouse. A little stupid to bring up now, but okay, Mr. Murhead, go and write that down. So that was in breach of the Northern Lighthouse Board. Okay. He also noted that some of the damage at the West Landing was difficult to believe unless seen. Quote, from evidence which I was able to procure, I was satisfied that the men had been on duty up until dinner time on Saturday, the 15th of December, that they had gone down to secure a box in which the mooring ropes and etc. to secure the box in which were kept and which was secured in a crevice. So let me show you this crevice. Let me show you the crevice that he's talking about. All right, you can see it here. No, let's see. I'm gonna show you it over. Why they need 4 of the what? I'm gonna show you this crevice because it. Oh, well, you can look here. All right, look. All right, look here. So on the right-hand side, right, this is the east landing. On the left is the west landing. You see the crevice, right? They would put the boxes over in there, hang them from there, suspend them there from there, so that they were secure. Right? You couldn't get to them. So they think, this guy thinks, excuse me, I can't wait till spring is over. He thinks that they ran out to get the boxes out of the crevices so they wouldn't be damaged, and in the process they disappeared. Again, this is only conjecture at this point. The rock at about 110 feet above the sea level. So and then the extra large sea had rushed up the face of the rock, had gone above them and come down with immense force that had swept them completely away. So what he is saying is this. What he is saying is this. Oh, come on. Boys, get out of there. What he is saying is this. And I guess 2 things could happen. He is saying that a wave hit this part of the island here. I'm going to make it big so you can see it some more. A wave hit that part of the island and ran a rogue wave. which there are out there. I know. I've read about it. God knows. Let me tell you, doing this, I've researched rogue waves. They are massive and they are a thing completely. So he is saying that a mass wave hit this island so forcefully that it came above 200 feet in the air. All right. And when the water came down from 200 feet in the air, it washed the men straight out, ripped all of the railings out, moved the damn rock, and knocked all the sod off. Could it happen? Well, we know that there was no storm that night. We know, hey, Mitt Mama, we know that there was no storm because nowhere else, anywhere near this lighthouse, recorded a storm. There was no storm. Okay. So, but we have these logbooks that say, "Oh no, MacArthur was crying and Ducat was, quiet and oh, please God help us." They recorded from the 12th to the 14th this horrible storm that hit no other place but theirs. Okay, well, so there wasn't a storm. Could it have been a rogue wave? It could have been a rogue wave, but the logbooks are describing this huge storm. So you have to pick which one you're going to believe, right? I mean, that's why when I say when Robert Murhead here wrote his report, it's only one man. And then at one point he says evidence that he had procured. From where? Where did you procure this? There were 2 oilskin jackets were gone. One was left, right? They think that MacArthur is the one that left without his jacket on. But where are you procuring anything, Mr. Murhead? Nobody knows. He doesn't list it in his things. He just says evidence that I was able to procure. Okay, thanks for that. So, to this day, we're never going to know what happened to these men. We're never going to know. This is one of those things that's going to bother us forever, right? We have some theories. I know, from a pure, exactly, right? From the place where they procure. We have some theories. Y'all know that part of the fun of Saturday Night Mystery Club are the theories. Okay, so let's read some of the theories. I will also have this. We'll talk about that. So the official explanation, I love this, is that the official inquiry concluded that 3 men were swept away and lost at sea in rough weather while attending some equipment near the cliff. However, this explanation has been disputed by many. Again, there was no storm reported. A rogue wave, okay, but not a 3-day storm. All right, so we have that. These are great. I love theories. We have another theory. This is the freak wave theory. And that is that a freak wave came and hit the island very high up. It was gigantic, and this is what it did. Now, here's the problem with that. All right, so it's Saturday afternoon, December 15th. They're in there in their lighthouse doing their duty, right? They clean the light. They're making dinner. They didn't make up their beds. I don't understand why. I don't know why they did that anyway. At dinner time, your bed should be made. Whatever. All right, so what I know about rogue waves, and I know a lot about rogue waves, they come out of nowhere. I don't know if y'all remember. I know everybody does remember this, but the tidal wave. Remember a couple? Was it like 10 years ago on Christmas, the day after Christmas, actually. and it was an earthquake and an actual tidal wave, right? It hit Thailand and all that. If you remember, I'll go back and look at that footage before it hit, and the sea had sucked back, right? Because that tidal wave was pulling all the water away from islands, and people were out there going, "What the hell?" You know. And then, unfortunately, that thing hit. This would be a rogue wave that came out of nowhere. Would they have had time to run down to the west side of the island, start trying to get those boxes up, right? And then all of a sudden, it hit. It could happen, I guess. Anything can happen. But again, if it's a rogue wave, it doesn't make the log make sense. And it doesn't make, it makes the log make no sense at all. All right, we're getting to the good ones out. Theory number 3 is that there was some foul play, and that probably MacArthur, who was bigger, he had a temper, that perhaps he had gotten into a fight. Yes, very big one, very big one. He had gotten into a fight with one of the other keepers, and they just went running out in the middle of no storm, because there was no storm. 2 people thought to put on their oil skins during this huge fight, and that MacArthur killed one of the people he was fighting with, and then he killed the other guy, and then he was so upset that he just threw himself off the cliff. Okay. I mean, that could happen. I guess it could have happened. But it's always, it's always the guy, the last guy in. It's always his fault, always his fault. So then we're going to move to the supernatural. Hey, Wolf Rider, we're going to move to the supernatural. So the whole island did have superstitions and legends. The same basic ones. You have evil forces. You had, sea people, creatures, sea creatures, sea birds. So one of the theories is that a seabird or a couple of seabirds. Hey, Jennifer Marie. A couple of seabirds flew over the island and picked up all the men. I don't know if this was 3 altogether. I don't know if the seabird came back a couple times, but that is one of the theories, that a seabird picked them all up. Right. So here's the thing, though. Yeah, it could absolutely no. If this had been a storm, it would be we would get it, right. I mean, oh yeah, this was a horrible storm, and they went out here and there was no storm reported. There was another lighthouse about 16 miles away. They did not see any light. In fact, I don't even find that they didn't see lights from Flannan several times during December, like a couple of days, 7th through the 9th. There was none. Then the light came back on the 13th, and then it was off again on the 15th, and then it came back on. There was a lot of sorry. I am sorry. I've got allergies. So could it have been a freak storm? I guess. Anything at this point, anything's possible. Yeah, there was a lot of well, basically this. All right, let me finish the theory. So the theory is that seabirds picked up the men and took them off. Then there was another one, that a sea creature came out of the water, went up, I guess, up the 160 stairs on the other side or on this side, picked the men up, threw them over, and left. Okay. And then we have alien abduction. I have to say it. I have to say alien abduction, because there is not a mystery that we cover here that doesn't involve alien abduction in the theories. All of them do. All of them do. So yes, aliens could have come, and this is a part of the, listen, go look for the theories. These are it. I'm not making them up. Now, another theory is that all three men decided, you know what, guys? Let's all go start a new life. Let's all just, the hell with our families and our children. Let's just leave this island, this lighthouse. How are we going to do it? We don't know. There's no boat here. But let's just leave and start new lives. And all three of them said, hell yeah, let's go. Let's go. That's another one. And then one of the last ones is a foreign spy. Hey, there is nothing that is not possible in this. So they think that a foreign spy took the lighthouse keepers. I do not know what the foreign spies would. I don't know what information would be there that they would need. But, I mean, the pirates, listen, that's a thing. I get, there is so many theories and so many possibilities to this mystery of how they disappeared. You know, the most popular one is that the storm hit and they were out there, like Mr. Marhead's report, that they just got washed away. I mean, so we'll go back to the logbooks. They have tried to say that, and I say they, people, have tried to say that the logbooks were not authentic. That there was nobody, none of them would have put these entries in a book. It wouldn't have happened. Not in the logbook. No, this can't be true. It was put there years later, is what they said. Years later. Somebody somehow got a hold of the logbook, wrote these things, took it back to the lighthouse, put it under the stuff, like, don't look at this. Okay. If that is true, and that these, the 12th, 13th, none on the 14th, and the 15th, God is good, we're good, the storm is over. If they did that, why? Why would you do that? Again, there was... I gotta turn... Because I really did try. I tried to get these. To get it, right? I didn't get it. I didn't get it. Also, let me tell you this. The logbooks are gone. Nobody has seen the logbooks. And in 100 years, maybe, nobody knows where these logbooks are. So now it's very easy to say, oh, well, these logbooks, they weren't authentic entries. Somebody did that years later. Where's the damn logbook? The Northern Lighthouse Board doesn't have them. That's who governed all of this, but they don't have them. And obviously they're not in the lighthouse anymore. Nobody knows where these logbooks went. So why are you going to fraudulently put something in a logbook that doesn't even exist anymore years later? I don't think UFOs either. They would think. Yeah, a UFO is not going to tear up a whole, a 200-foot cliff to get there. They're just going to land, right? They're not going to need to do all that shit. They're not going to rip railings out. They're not going to get buoys and throw them off. They're not going to crash boxes. They're just going to get them, So, yeah, they absolutely went over it. Absolutely. It's just what you want to believe. It's what you want to believe. Did this, was there a fight? Because, MacArthur, the big one, he was the big guy. He got, hey, SDA, he got blamed for this. That he obviously couldn't take it out there because it is very isolated, it's desolate. I can't imagine. I don't care how much you love the sea. This isn't like you're at the beach, right? You're not at the beach. This is like a hard ass. Let's go back and look. This whole island that this is on is 39 acres. This isn't a big place. There it is again. Let's look at that. Let me make it big again. Let me make it big again. 39 acres. I think this was the better photograph. There you go. That's much better. All right, so again, when we talk about the crevices that the men were trying to get the boxes out of, you see here on the left, right? You see over here on the right is the east, over here over on the left is the west, and those crevices right there is where they kept things suspended. All right, so apparently, and this was 12/20/2005, so when this photograph was taken. So it's all on this west side. That's where everything was. Every bit of damage was. Not on the east side. Now, if you think a rogue wave or storm, too, why didn't it do anything to the east side of the island? Now, another thing that Mr. Murray did come up with was that the way the wind was blowing that night, now, mind you, he wasn't there. He wasn't there. And this was not reported. There's no storm reported. But Mr. Murray did say this, that the men could not have been blown off the island because the wind was coming the other way. It would have just blown them back into the island. How do you know that? How do you know that? And if that's true, would it make more sense if they were on the left side, the east side of the landing? Wouldn't it? Because that would mean that it would have blown them off that side, right? I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't know. But he says that the wind was blowing, it would have blown them into the island and not away from the island on the west side. But on the east side, So this is 39 acres. There's not a lot there. Like I said, this isn't like going to the beach. They're not breaking out their lounge chairs and getting a suntan, during the day. These lighthouse keepers, they're just not. And they say that MacArthur probably just snapped, right? And just killed them all. There was no blood found. That's right. No blood, no broken glass, no footprints, nothing. There was nothing on that island. And let me tell you this, the bodies, they looked for them bodies a lot, right? They looked for the bodies. Not one body, not one oil skin, nothing ever showed up. That's why this mystery is the way it is, because you didn't find the bodies. You have people now questioning the logbooks, right? I mean, they're questioning logbooks, saying that those entries weren't really in there. But we don't have the books now. We don't know where they are. Have no idea. Also, so to keep these lights rotating, right, and clean and smooth, this particular lighthouse would do, I think, go around twice every 30 seconds. That's a lot. But to maintain all of that and to make sure that it stays slick, they used mercury. All right? Mercury. They put their hands in mercury. They breathed in mercury. Now, mercury poisoning was a common thing around lighthouse keepers. Some of the symptoms you would be depressed, you would be short-tempered, you would lose a little bit of reality, you would have trouble contemplating things. It was that could one of them start, suffered the effects of the mercury and gone, bananas. Hey, it's a possibility. It's a possibility. And if you rotated every 2 weeks out, which really, it wouldn't be every 2 weeks. So they rotated every 2 weeks. Okay, so that means you were on the island for 4 weeks, and then every 4 weeks you got your 2 weeks. Anyway, so when they came home, were they not then exposed to it? I don't know. I mean, obviously not. You're not gonna have vats of mercury in your house. So that was one thing that could have happened. It could have been very easy that mercury got in there and affected the mental health, affected everything, and that one went nuts. I mean, that's a possibility. I didn't know that mercury was a thing then. I did not know that's what they kept. All of that. I'm gonna say greased, but they just used it. It was hands in it, breathing it in. It's all up there in the top thing. I wonder if there was any money involved. I don't know, because I don't know that there was money even out there. I mean, hey Peggy, my sweet, you've been in the UK chat, girl. Anything's a possibility at this point. Anything's a possibility. Money, I don't know. That's why this is so because there's so many things that could have happened, right? Why were the beds not made? Part of their task, part of the lightkeeper's task, was to keep everything extremely clean. All right, that was what they did half the day, right? They cleaned. Everything was that when James Moore went into, the guy that was usually there, when he went there the first day, he was like, nah, something ain't right. Something's not right. The chair was knocked over. The food, if you believe, the food was on the table. If not, the food was getting ready to be put on the table. The chair was knocked over. The beds weren't made. There was no flag on the flagpole. So if you woke up on Saturday, December 15th, and you were a lighthouse keeper out there, you would have made your bed, right? You would have probably put a flag up, okay? You definitely would have cleaned the light and filled the fuel up. It was like kerosene is what they used. That would have absolutely been done. Only one of those things were done, and that's that the lamp was cleaned and ready to go. Guys, once again, that's a good, Ted, that's a good theory. That's a very good theory. But then why do you? Why do you? What would be the point? Because obviously Ducat was going to be the one that got paid the most. He was the primary keeper. He was the boss, okay? And then you had assistant or associate lighthouse keepers. Now, Mr. MacArthur was an occasional lighthouse assistant, which means this wasn't his job. His job mainly happened on shore. He wasn't out. He was not part of the rotation here. MacArthur, the last guy, the big guy. He wasn't in the rotation. His job was on the mainland and on the coast. That was his job. When their guy fell out and was unable, then MacArthur came out there as an occasional. In fact, in the paperwork, all right, that Murhead submitted, and the Captain Harbing of the Hubris, who came out on the 26th. They don't even name MacArthur. They just called him the occasional. Can you imagine that? You're not even named in paperwork. You're just called the occasional. Now, did the occasional go there and run amok? Probably, maybe. I don't know. He wasn't used to it out there. He wasn't used to it. The solitude, the constant howling of the wind, the ocean over. He just wasn't accustomed to that. He would have been out there, I'm assuming, 4 weeks, like everybody else. And maybe the next time, that the rotation hit, he would be able to go home. I don't know. Again, these records don't exist anymore. They just don't. This thing was automated in the 70s. You're not even supposed to go out there. I think they do sometimes have, they have people that go out there. I don't know why. And let's go back and look. The stairs now are, I can't believe that. Just makes me so mad right there. Because this damn entry on the 12th was like, the sea lashed with fury. Never seen such a storm. Waves. And I couldn't fit it. I thought I'd fit it in there well. Let's see. I don't even know what the hell I was looking for now. Maybe I have some, Mercury poison. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Here's the steps. You ain't coming up to 160 of them steps, my guy. You'll die. Look at them. You ain't gonna make it up there. You'll be dead. So they have some occasional people out there that what the fuck you want to go watch it for? But people want to go. The picture individuals with some underlying mental issues. The Mercury could have done it. I think the Mercury was part of it 100%. I don't think a lot of people thought about that. Because back then they did. How do you not know that Mercury is a poison? I don't know, but they didn't. They put their hands all in it. They breathed it. Wish you could have seen the logbooks, right? Yeah, and they even said, and one of the things I looked at, it said, some author way back when uncovered the fact that the logbooks were altered. How did you do that when they're not here anymore? They're gone. So I don't know how an author from the 1950s could have discovered that these entries were false. Doesn't make any sense. Hello, Puff the Magic Dragon. Do you know anything about this? Because you're Puff the Magic Dragon. You might have come up and got them. Let me find James Ducat's daughter. She was 98 years old when she was interviewed in 1990. And this is what she said. She gave this interview to the Times, in which she recalled her father's reluctance to take the post. And we talked about that. He did not want to be out there at all. She says, he said it was too dangerous, that he had a wife and 4 children dependent on him. But Mr. Murhead, Robert Murray was the superintendent, persuaded him because he had such faith in him as a good and reliable keeper. On the day he left for the last time, he stopped to give each of his children a kiss. I'll always wonder if he had some kind of premonition that he would never see us again. Hey, Kennedy. So even a child, let's see, if she was 98 and 1990, she was 8 right at the time. No, yeah, I don't know. I'm math. I don't do math. But even she, at 98, remembers that her father did not want to go. Remembers that her father stopped and kissed every child before he left. It was too dangerous. Obviously, he was right. It was too dangerous. I don't care how many people you got out there. I don't care if you rotate them every week. That's a long time to stay out there. Yeah, the routine, they would have to write. And again, how we know the 15th was, their last day was, on a piece of paper before it got put into the log, it was the barometer reading of that day. It was some wind speeds from that day were written on a piece of paper to be put in the log book, and they never made it there. But how do we know that it didn't make it there? Because we had a log book that said on the 13th that it was the biggest storm, the fury, the water, everybody was crying, nothing on the 14th, and then 15th saying, oh, God is great, it's over. Doesn't make any sense. I was sitting there thinking, I wonder what spouses may have known. Yeah. I try to look at their salaries from back then and then converting the money over. They made good money. They made really good money. However, sometimes I believe this to be true, especially back then. You had James the Cat that did not want to go. How much money, right, did it take for him to say, all right, I'm married. I've got 4 children. I don't want to be out there. It is dangerous. How much did Merhead say? Listen, we'll give you a little raise. We'll give you a little promotion. I have to wonder what the other ones were making, the occasional that they don't even name. What was he making? It's like Ted said, did he find out what the other guys were making and was like, whoa, that ain't right. And then you have Thomas Marshall, the other lightkeeper who never really gets mentioned because he was just not a factor. I mean, he was the one who supposedly wrote the entries in the logbook, the false ones. Okay, they were supposedly in his handwriting. Okay, but he never gets mentioned. He was neither. I don't like to say this because this is bad to say. He wasn't the new guy with the bad temper. He wasn't the boss. He was just the guy in the middle, right? He was the assistant, lightkeeper. Okay, associate, assistant. And he plugged away. He was up there. If he's the one that cleaned the light and, fueled it up, and he's writing the logbook, what the hell's everybody else doing? Just saying. He's never really mentioned. He had a wife, he had kids too, They say that MacArthur was 50 years old. I don't know. And let's look at him again. Because I don't know if that is wise. All right, so MacArthur to be on the left here. All right, and then you have Ducat on the right, and then you have in the middle, Mr. Marshall. So does he look 50? I don't know. And then we'll look at this is the original photograph with Mr. Merhead here on the far right. I don't think he looks 50, but I could be wrong. He surely doesn't look 50 here at all. Who wrote that? That's my girl. That's supposedly it was Mr. Marshall that had put these in. And again, Mr. Marshall's not really he's not the boss. He's not the occasional. He's just the guy who we don't know what their dues were broken up into either. Did Mr. Marshall take care of just the lamp, cleaning it and filling it? Was that his job? Was he getting the barometric pressures and the wind speeds? Was that his job? Okay, if that was true, what did Ducat do? What did Keeper Ducat do? What did he do? Was he in charge of just keeping everything clean? And a breakdown of their duties are not really out there. We don't know. We don't really know who was responsible for what. What we do know is that when James Moore got on that island, right, on the 26th of December, to his friends, because he was the one, he was in the rotation. This was his job being out there, right? So we know that the Arch Tour saw them on the 15th, no light. It took them 3 more days. They got into Lee, Scotland on the 18th, 1900. A relief ship was supposed to take provisions out on the 20th of December, but a bad storms held that thing up until the 26th of December. And that is when James Moore went out there with all that and got up there and said, "Nah, something ain't right. Something right." The Captain Harvey of Herbert's boat said, We blew the horn, which I don't know what that means, and we shot off a flare. No man came. He even said that something horrible had happened on that island. A terrible accident had happened on that island. He just didn't know what. When that captain Harvey went back to Lee's, and they left James Moore and the 2 seamen from that ship there, and he got back and he said, "Listen, they're gone, guys. They're gone. Something is wrong." Then they contacted Murhead. Murhead went out there, right? He's the only one, again, the only investigator. His report is the only report. And it says what he thinks happened, which is this huge wave came, hit the island, went over 200 feet in the air. All right. The water, which could be, don't get me wrong, it could have been a rogue wave that hit halfway up that, maybe 100 feet up, say, I don't know. And all that water went straight up and then came down. And that's what tore everything around. It could have been, but then again, we have to talk about the storm that was listed in the logbook that was nowhere else near that island. Nowhere near that island had this storm. I don't know how storms work, right? I don't know. If you've ever been to the beach and you can watch storms from 10 miles away, right? You watch, especially at night, you can see the lightning, whatnot. Nobody saw the storm. Nobody had it. This was a 3-day storm from the 12th to the 15th that these guys talk about, right? And nobody else had it. That's why we'll never know what happened to these men. We'll never know. MacArthur gets the blame. Well, he must have just gone crazy and run outside without his oilskin, because that was a big thing, right? There was only one oilskin left, so somebody left with what do they call it? What did he call it? Shit, what did he call it? Shirt sleeved. Oh, thank you. You know what? I love doing this. This is like my jam, right here. I love doing it. If y'all weren't here, I'd be doing it anyway. But, yeah. So let me deal with. Does somebody want to come up and discuss? Because we could. We've gone an hour and a half. Y'all know who I am about this hour and a half stuff. I'd like to nail that. I like to just. We have 3 more minutes before my hour and a half is up. I'm just kidding. I know. Thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot. I really do. I'm telling you, if I weren't here doing this, I'd be here doing this. Does that make any sense? If I weren't here doing it, I'd be here doing it. I'm trying to figure out a mystery for next week. I have flirted with Jimmy Hoffa. Oh, Cat's Corner. Oh, well, Cat. It's funny you mentioned Cat's Corner, Cat. Say hi to Cat. She's upstairs. Yeah, you didn't come down. So we'll do Cat's Corner next Saturday. I have been making. I've been trying to think about Jimmy Hoffa. Right, I've been trying. I even started a Jimmy Hoffa research. I started doing it, right, and it's a lot. Was a solo investigator. Apparently so, Midnight Baker. Dude, this is what is so freaky wild. He was the only one that saw it. No, I take that back. James Moore and the seamen saw some of that, right? They saw that the box had been smashed on the top of the island and all the ropes, right? They saw that. As far as the rails being ripped up and twirled around, I think they got to see that too. So yeah, I'm lying about that. He's not the other one that saw it. Because James Moore and the other 2 guys had to start the light back up. So on the 26th of December, that light was going again because they were there. The only one that submitted a report was this Mr. Murhead, who was the superintendent for this area for these keepers. And he was only one person. The only report came from just him. And even he couldn't really say what he thought happened was the rogue wave came in, went up the side of that cliff above 200 feet, came down and just ripped everything out on its way out. That could have happened again. I have a authentic paranormal message. I don't know. You can't really go out there anymore, Rand, because it's not safe. It's not. I mean, let's go back and we'll look at what it looks like now. It's not safe. And when I saw that you could like go out there, I'm like, how are you getting up there? I'm not going up 160 steps that are crap. No, not my fat ass. This is what the West Side looks like today. It is tore up. It is tore up. Absolutely tore up. I would try to get up that if you no, not Shannon. All right, this again is the west side of the island. Another bit, shot of it, and the railway that they hoisted all that stuff up from. And then we'll go over here. Here's another part of the railway that was so ingenious that they did this, right? Exactly, Midnight Beggar. Austin Matthews, I know, baby. That this is it today, and if you look closer, I wanted to blow this up. There's actually solar panels on it now. And this bit right here, that was a church. This little pile of rocks right here, that was this St. Flannan church, and it was built by nothing but these loose stones. I didn't get a lot of pictures of it. One, because it is called the St. Flannan Chapel, but as far as when it was built, I couldn't find it anywhere. I could put it into the search engine and it would break up the photographs of it, but when it was built, I don't know. Obviously, way before the lighthouse was. But it's still there. They are. It's a pile of rocks now. But let's go back over to the Austin Matthews. You stop looking at me like that. I've got to stop putting them in the middle of everything. I love doing. I love surprising y'all with. Let me get those. Where are those steps? Come on, Shannon. All right, there they are. I ain't going up them steps. The hell am I going to go up them steps for? Nothing. That's on the good side of the island. That's the eastern side. The eastern landing. I ain't going up them. Yeah, so do people go out there? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think they do it. And they, what do you even add that as a palate cleanser? They're not going to lose. Catherine, don't say that. If y'all don't know my daughter, Catherine, she's right there. Stop saying they're going to lose. Me and Catherine went out and got Jesus candles at the Dollar Tree. we got the Jesus Sacred Heart candle. We left with that one, right? And there was other colors. Like there was other. We're going to hell. Okay, we're going to hell. So we got the Jesus candle, right? Because for some reason, I keep breaking Jesus candles. I don't even know what that's about. All right, so we went and we got the one Jesus candle. And then they had all these colors. So I said, Catherine, look up, right? Look up the different colors. What do the different colors mean? So she's looking them up, right? And then they have an actual like Toronto blue. So, wait a minute. So we go outside, right, with our one candle and my cheap dollar store pins that I love more than anything. Let me put me back here. My dollar store pens that I love more than anything on earth. They are cheap, but their color is indigo. It's a very indigo color. And sometimes they won't write. You have to bounce them off the thing. Anyway. All right. So we sat in the car with the one candle. And I said, Catherine, should we go get another candle? So I sent Catherine back in. She got the blue candle and the guardian angel candle. So we came home and we lit them. And the Maple Leafs won. I'm not saying it's us.
It's not us.
Oh, it's tornado warning. Oh, Puff, please be careful. Look, we again, Ryan Hall, y'all.
Would you like this light of Jesus candle?
Come show him. Hold on, she's brought him down.
This is the one we came out with.
We're not saying this is
Mind
why.
you, it was pouring down rain.
It was pouring down
and
rain.
I was wearing Crocs.
She put on Crocs. This is Jesus Campbell. This is the one we left with the first time.
Then we were making a
Then
video.
when I got in the car and I was like, I don't know, this might not be enough.
Even I told her, let's get the other one.
You did say it, and I said, yeah.
So,
Right. Then we got the Toronto blue. There's a blue candle. We lit that. Hold on.
And then I begged for this one.
And then we have the guardian angel. It kind of looks like Nylander.
It looks like Nylander.
If you look at the little baby, he kind of looks like Nylander. So we bought these candles.
But we need to bring the crystals up next time.
Oh, yeah.
For Sunday.
Remember, I talked about my crystals here that we have. We'll take those up there tomorrow.
I don't know what else.
I think that an empath probably could and would be able to, because I don't think that there's a lot of, I don't think that there's a lot of, I mean, that had whatever happened to these men, right? Whatever happened to these men, it was probably horrific. I have to say that. Can you imagine whatever happened? Whatever, if a seabird carried them off, because we know that is one of the theories. Knowing that you're not going to see your family anymore, knowing you're getting ready to die, knowing if it's a rogue wave, right? And you're seeing water come down and you're washed away. It's got to be imprinted with something that's on that island that has imprinted itself to it. There's no doubt in my mind. It's just getting there to get them there, you know? And again, no bodies were found. No evidence was found of any of what the theories are, that there was a, that there was a fight, that there was, a storm. There's nothing. So, yeah, I getting them out there. Yes. And this is why I always love to give y'all these first, like a week before, because y'all are really smart and you're really on time, and you all go and y'all research this stuff. And again, today I was in the shower and I don't watch anything having to do with any of the stories that I do, right? Because I don't want somebody else's opinion to come over as a fact for me, right? So today, when I was in the shower, I turned on a YouTube video about it just to hear the story's part. Yeah, it's a very listen. It is a good story, Ted. It really is. But I wanted to make sure I got like the names right, and and it's funny because you can hear when other people are presenting this story, you can hear verbatim things that they found online. It's verbatim, it's so we're all dealing with the same bit of information that we've had forever. But when you hear somebody else say verbatim something that you've read, it's like, okay, well, we're not gonna, like I always say, we're not gonna solve this. We're not gonna solve this mystery. We're not gonna find them. We don't know. And then the information that you have out there is the information you have out there. But I love it when y'all, these pique your interest and you go and research them, because y'all are good. Y'all are good. I will say that. So, like for next week, what did you say about so apparently on this island, I showed you the little church, right? There's some kind of folklore. I mean, it's not. It's you find it one place, right? You find the folklore and the monsters or whatever. You find it in one place. Then you go look at another place. It doesn't say anything about it. Then you go back over and you look. But it was a couple of men died while building it. I told y'all that when they built it, they had to haul all that material up those landings, east and west, right? And they were living in huts, not homes, huts. You had desolate, harsh winds. The winds blew constantly because you're that high up and the wind's going around you, right? You're on that, So a couple of people died while making it, while building it. It took about 4 years to build. So people, did die. Did people die afterwards? I have no clue. I have no clue if any other lighthouse keeper or associate or assistant or occasional ever died on that afterwards. I have no clue. I couldn't find it. If it's out there, I couldn't find it. So yeah, Pup, you need to stay very, very safe. Okay, we're not gonna put up with your shenanigans with tornadoes. Okay. Exactly. Yeah, that does amplify, if I'm not mistaken. And I think we had some paranormal people in here. But I think maybe. Doesn't I thought that a spirit couldn't cross running water. If I'm wrong, let me know. I'm not saying that the ocean is running water, but I thought that a spirit couldn't cross like a stroke. I'll have to go look at that. I don't know. But it's got to be a bone. Hello. Yeah, it does have to be something that has to be imprinted out there, Rand. I don't even know. I don't know. I would love to have some psychics and some empaths go out there. I really would. That's with all of these things. All these mysteries, it makes me crazy because it's so much we don't know. 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 That's what makes mysteries interesting and maddening at the same time. If only we had one person in there. If only we did that. If only this. We're not going to find it.
Why are you pointing at me?
I point at you because I played my Dream On at the beginning of this. Yeah. Should I take it off?
Yeah.
Even though it's got edits in it, it's like.
You played
I'm going to take that off.
But it's already on YouTube.
I know, but if I haven't put it in yet. All right, so we're gonna move on till next week. We gotta pick one for next week. Do we have any suggestions for next week? What do we want to do? I'm flirting with Hoffa. It's a lot. I know. I've tried. I started on him before, and I don't know why I wasn't moved to continue doing that. But when I go and look through this, mysteries, right? World's biggest mysteries. We've done almost all of them. I haven't done Amelia Earhart because we just don't know what happened to Amelia. I mean, well, here's the thing. There was only one leg of that whole journey of Amelia Earhart that effed up, and
you still need to do Harris's.
I'm gonna do Harris's.
I said Harris's.
I know Harris's. I'm gonna do is different.
Okay.
I'm gonna have that during the week.
Okay.
Harris is acting badly. That's gonna come up. Then we still got the damn Duke and Duchess of Windsor. Y'all know I hate both of them. I fucking hate them. We'll do that during the week too. So when I look back at all of the ones that we've done, and we've done a lot of them. We've done almost all of them. We haven't done Amelia. We haven't done the Bermuda Triangle, and we haven't done Hoffa. I don't care. When I was going to do the Bermuda Triangle, I found out, You know what? I think you told me that before. Mary Fagan. Mary, hold on. I gotta look them up, y'all. I mean, I gotta find them. The struggle is real.
You drinking tea out of a...
Oh yeah. I'm gonna look. I know I looked that up. I know I did. Halloween Baby. Oh, Lizzie, we've done Lizzie Borden. Ted, you new here, baby. We have done Lizzie Borden.
Yes.
We have done Velisca axe murders. We've done God, how many we've done? Velisca, Jack the Ripper, the Black Dahlia, Lizzie Borden.
Well, mysteries never end.
D.B. Cooper. D.B. Cooper. We've done the Texas Killing Fields.
Ted
We've
Bundy?
done well, there's no Ted Bundy to do. We know he did it. I mean, there's a mysteries. Oh, sorry. Ted Bundy. Sorry.
Giving me the
I know. Well, Ted, you just got to go look. I mean, we've done a lot of them. I'm so proud of this thing. I love looking for ones and thinking, oh, we've done that one, we've done that one, we've done that one, we've done that one. Yuba 5, yeah, the Dahlia.
You get into your zone tonight, too.
I get what?
Get into your zone. Would you start researching?
Oh, I do. That's true.
She'll get mad
At night, I do my research. How I calm down.
There's like a thing that a lot of parents talk about on TikTok. Is that their teenagers just want to talk at night, and you're all day you're waiting for them to talk to you about how their day went.
Yeah.
Second you go to bed, hey, guess what happened today?
That's her.
That is me.
Yes, we've done so many of these. And the reason I even did Ted Lizzie Borden is because technically, that Lizzie Borden, Andrew and Abby Borden's murders are not solved because, she was found innocent. So technically, they were unsolved. That's why I did them. And there was I read a book, and one of the I mentioned it last week. Between Abby being murdered and her father being murdered, right? And all the neighbors, when screams were let out, right? When Andrew's body was found, and people started to come all around the house, and Lizzie Borden walks outside and sees her neighbor. She says, "Oh, hello, Mrs. So-and-so. Someone's come and killed father." Man's head gone, right? Yes, that's all we do. So, all right. Well, listen, I can look at that. I'll look at that. I always make a decision by tomorrow, right? By tomorrow. Catherine and I had discussed possibly switching out a mystery night for a conspiracy night, because if y'all, I know I'm just doing like housekeeping right now. Trying to discuss conspiracy theories is insane. We have to break them down. JFK, Princess Diana, we have to break them down and do them like that. So Catherine and I actually pondered that. Do we put another conspiracy in with the mysteries? We could do that. Could do that. I don't know. Lizzie, let me tell you. Oh, Ted, I went off about her last week.
It would be nice.
I went off about her and Maplecroft, the home that she, moved into, which is gorgeous, by the way. You can see inside of it, and how her life. She died alone. Something happened with her and Emma. Emma was living in Maplecroft with her, right? And something happened, and Emma left and never spoke to or saw Lizzie again. It's probably because Lizzie had a lot of actors and actresses come through there and stay, and there was probably some kind of relationship. T. Parker B, I could do that. I love you, Mint Mom. I appreciate you. Yeah, so we got a lot. You here for the conspiracy? We can do.
I think it would be nice to do a conspiracy theory.
Well, we can do a conspiracy
when you have to prepare the heiresses. Because you already know everything. It's a lot of information quality.
Oh, yeah. All right, so we've got people. Hey, Mama Canon. We got people in here who want to talk about Marilyn Monroe, JFK. Okay, so let's do this. Next Saturday. There are so many aspects of JFK. If y'all will remember, I did Dorothy Kilgallen, who was the reporter who back in the day was we think, would you get out of my jewelry, you little thief? I did two on Dorothy Kilgallen, the reporter who had pretty much probably solved this murder, and then she was murdered. So let's do Marilyn Monroe. Hey, Deborah.
Who did Marilyn Monroe next?
Marilyn Monroe in regards to JFK and RFK. Let's do that. Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe, her death, and the possible connection to the Kennedys. Is everyone on board? I have points to take what you want, Kat. They already do. They already do.
No, I don't.
I get the cheapest jewelry from Temu, right? I don't go buy anything expensive. I get off Temu, right?
Wait, I love showing my rings.
My damn kids come down here and I ain't got
kids.
Like two of them. It raided all my $2 earrings.
Kevin did.
Yeah,
No.
my daughter Devin. I said, "Oh yeah, go downstairs, get some of the earrings."
She had like a party to go to.
She had a party to go to, and I told her I got some cute earrings down there. I didn't mean to take all of my goddamn earrings.
She did. She still wears them.
She wears them like I'm not gonna know they're mine.
I think she knows, and I think she doesn't care.
And then I go try to find them on Temu again. I can't find them anyway. So we're gonna do Marilyn Monroe. Oh, thank you, Rand. I appreciate you so much. Let's do Marilyn Monroe.
I think that's cool.
Next week. That's gonna be so cool. That's my girl.
Yeah, and it like mixed with conspiracy theories.
Yeah, and it'll go with the
It's really
conspiracy.
cool.
Because we are all right. So we'll do the conspiracy theories. We'll still do the paranormal every 6 weeks. 6 to 8 weeks. We're gonna do the one paranormal night. All right. And then we'll throw a conspiracy in, and then we'll do some mysteries. And then, all right, so I always have a lot of plans. I got a lot of plans. So next week we will discuss Marilyn Monroe. And I'm going to take Mary Flanagan here, and I'll take her upstairs and do some research on her. So, okay, we're agreed. Next week we're going to do Marilyn Monroe in regards to her murder. Her possible murder. I'll just put it that way. We'll discuss. If we're good, then that's what we'll do. And I will listen.
I want to expose you.
Please subscribe to Ryan Hall, y'all.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Ted, we're gonna talk about it. Subscribe to Ryan Hall, y'all. He is obviously free. All right. He is never wrong. He will sit there and he will not leave. He's done over 12 hours before waiting for the last tornado warning to expire. He will tell you when it's coming down your road. He will tell you when it's... Yeah. Subscribe to him, please. Again, let's think very clearly and let's pray for the people who have lost things and lost loved ones. And apparently there's going to be some more storms this week. Ryan Hall has called them. So, yeah, do that. Be nice to each other.
Love one another.
There you go. Love one another. Yeah, that's Julie Chen. Julie Chen. We love our big brother around here. Well, Brian, you're just gonna have to cancel all of your plans for Saturday night for the rest of your life because we're not having it. He does. He puts out warnings. He will tell you days and days and days and days before it's a thing. He's a great guy. All right, so Marilyn Monroe next week. Yeah, that's what we'll do. I want to thank y'all for coming. I want to thank y'all letting me do this every week. I don't know what's wrong with y'all, but y'all let me do it every week. And sometimes you throw me some money, and I'm like, well, all right, I'll do another one. So thank you all for showing up and for caring. Hey, my 300 to 400 are going to watch this later. I see you, babies. I see you, babies. Now I've got to go take off the song that I played at the beginning because then all this will be got to go away.
No.
Be safe, y'all, and I will see you next week.
Bye.
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 Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Now we really